Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockrell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry. I'm here with Lee Cockrell. And Lee, it has been so cold in Washington State. I'm about ready to move down there to Orlando with you.
Well, and we're not even getting cool here. It's hot. I mean, we had 87 last week, and it was like 85 on New Year's Eve. So it's gotten a little cooler today. We're saying it's really cool today. It's 65. So,
well, you better put a sweater on.
I know. But weather's really weird all over the world right now.
Yeah, well, we have it's been colder than it should, and when it's not too cold, it's just raining all the time. So Orlando sounds better to me almost every day.
That's good. Come on down.
Well, Lee, we have had great feedback on the show. We talked about that a bit last episode. And if you have a question that you would like for this show, you please send it in. We're going to focus on listener questions again today. You can send your questions directly to me. You can find the contact form on jodymayberry.com or reach out on Facebook or Twitter. You can find Lee on Twitter at Lee Cockrell, and I'm at Jody Mayberry. Our question today is from Casey Woolley. And Casey said, we all know that top performers, middle performers, and bottom performers are motivated by different things. From your experience, Lee, how did you seek to motivate top performers to perform better? There's more to the question, but let's stay with that one. How did you seek to motivate top performers to perform better?
Well, I think what you got to really think about it, you don't motivate everybody, and you don't, and I would even say you don't motivate anybody. The great performers motivate themselves, but certainly appreciation, recognition, and encouragement does it. And I know we worked with the Gallup organization. One thing we learned is everybody's different. Everybody gets some motivation and feeling good about things from their boss or from life in general from a little differently. Some people would like to get positive feedback, every day, and some need a little boost once a week, and some need it once a month. And I would say to really get to know your people well, some people want it privately. Some people would like a little letter sent to their home. Some people would like, if you left them a voicemail on the way home, tell them what a great job they're doing and how much you appreciate them. You hope they stay with you. I would say get to know, but don't try to do everybody the same. That looks a little phony. And, a little handwritten note to some person telling them what a great job they're doing and how much you appreciate them, what you want them to do better. But everybody's different. You got to know your people so well you can figure out how each individual likes to be recognized. And, you got children, they're different, right? The way you deal with them, their emotions, their sensitivities, all those kinds of things. And so I always tried to get to know my people one-on-one better. As I had one guy who worked for me, if I would give him some positive feedback and tell him what a great job he was doing, because he did, every week his performance would soar. There was another guy that didn't care if he saw me every 3 months, and he kind of probably didn't want to see me at all. So it was all different, and some it was weekly, and some it was touching base with him on a monthly basis. But you need to think about it. You need to think about the people around you, not only at work, but at home too. Your wife or your children, what makes them feel good about life and what they're doing. Because your real goal in life is as a parent or any kind of leader, you're trying to build self-confidence, build self-esteem, help people believe in themselves, take some of the stress out of life that people are dealing with. And I think half the battle is just making sure you think about it every day. Who should you really be paying attention to this week? And people listening to this now should make a list. They ought to make a list of the 10 people in their life at work and at home and in the community or their church, place of worship. They could easily make those people feel much better about themselves and improve their performance and give them a boost of energy. Then go about thinking about how to do it. Is it going to be a note, a card, a letter, a voicemail, a text, some flowers, some kind words about what a great job they're doing? Just half people don't think about it. And that's the problem. You ought to put that in your day timer every Monday morning. Think about this. You ought to write in there. Think about who I ought to make sure I pay attention to this week and make sure they understand that they're really doing a great job, because that's what people want, and people love feedback. I don't care. The hardest person out there will tell you they don't need feedback. They do. I guarantee you. We all like it. We all love it. Especially if you're married or have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you better do it, because that's the way it works. And as my wife said, if you love me, tell me. And when you say positive things, I like that. And when you notice performance, even with your kids, notice performance. You're doing a great job. I really like the way you handled that with your brother, your sister. That was very nice what you did for mom. That's how you build the self-esteem, self-confidence, and you build people who have responsibility and credibility. And by paying attention and thinking, those are two big things in life. Pay attention and think.
I'm going to return to Casey's question, but when we're talking top performers or anybody really, I know appreciation, recognition, and encouragement is a great motivator. But now I'm curious, where does cash come in as a motivator?
Well, it depends on the person. There's some people, if you talk to a salesperson out there in the world that works only on commission, well, they love it. That's how they keep score. It's money. That's their point system for them. And that's why I say you got to get to know your people on an individual level. I can tell you my performance never changed in my 42-year career. I never got worse or better based on salary, bonus. I woke up every morning and did a great job. I never even thought about the two being, there was times when I didn't make much money. And I actually felt like I wasn't making the right amount of salary. But I didn't let that get in the way of my performance. So it just depends on the person. Some people are driven by money. You know that. We know that. Salespeople, or maybe people on Wall Street, or people who, they need $10 million a year for some reason, their ego or whatever. But it's an individual thing. I don't do any more better, or I won't do a better job. Even if you give me more money, every time I got a bigger bonus or a car or a salary increase, my performance didn't get any better. I was doing as good as I could every day. And then there's other people that, that's a big turn on for them. And that's what keeps them at a company. And Disney and a lot of other companies do a good job of rewarding their high performers with good bonuses and stock options and all those kinds of things so that people don't leave the company. But most of those high performers are going to do a good job for you anyway. Even if you have a bad year and you give them a lower bonus than you did last year, I doubt if their performance will go down. I suspect it will not. That's what high performers can't help it. They just perform. It's the low performers you got to figure out what to do with. High performers sometimes don't even need a lot of feedback, but sometimes we ignore them too much. We kind of think, well, they're great and they're doing a great job, and we forget to tell them. And don't forget, because at every level, every person, I don't care what job you have or what level you are in life, we all need it and want it. And there's an amount of insecurity in every one of us.
Well, I think you've touched on something there, Lee. Too often, if you think about it, a supervisor's time is devoted to dealing with the troublemakers or the low performers, and the top performers, or even the people that do their job exactly as is expected, they go unnoticed because the attention goes in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we reward the great performers with more work because the poor performers aren't doing it. But that's life, and that's what we can deal with that another day when we talk about hiring. Hire less poor performers.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to return us to Casey's question. How do you turn middle performers to move into a top performing level?
Yeah, I think, again, you got to get to know them on an individual level and try to figure out what they need. Is that an insecurity problem? Are they introverts? Do they need training? Do they need to go take a course or get a degree in finance or marketing? Or where are they? What's keeping them from being successful so much that they would be on your list to promote into a high-level position? So I would say every part of life, get to know people on an individual level, know what they're good at, what they're not good at, how you can help them. That's kind of called development. You're supposed to be training your people and developing them. Then you can observe their performance, and some people will get there, and some people may not like their job. They may never get there, and then you're going to have to deal with that in a different way. But everybody's different, and that's all I can tell you. A lot of times it's a training issue. Sometimes it's a conversation you need to have with them. Sometimes they don't even understand your expectation. You got to be clear about expectations. And some people would do a better job if you talk to them about how to do a better job, what you needed, what you didn't like. So, those people right there in the middle, those average and above average people, can go either way. Their performance can go down, or through your working with them and paying attention to them and developing them, they can become your stars in a year or two or three. So don't underestimate. I can guarantee you at one point was doing a good job in my career, and I had the right leaders, and I ended up doing a great job because I got more clarity and more individualized conversations and clarity around, got more training, more experience. Some of my bosses gave me good experience. So you just never know. But you got to get to know people on an individual level, and you got to talk to them about it. What do you need to do? And you got to make sure you're telling them what you're not happy about too, because a lot of people don't know. They just don't realize they're not doing as well as you would like for them to do. And you got to be have the courage to stand up and tell people the truth, so they can get better.
And I know we've touched on that on our episode about performance reviews, where too often people don't know how they did until the end of the year when they get a performance review and find out their supervisor wasn't happy with a few things.
Yeah, I mean, like your doctor, you go to the doctor, he says, make sure you tell me everything or I can't help you. Don't be embarrassed because you did this or that. We're talking about your health, life and death. And I think sometimes with people who work for us, we're not telling them the truth, and then they end up losing their job. And shame on you for doing that, because it's your responsibility. It's like not dealing with your children. I mean, it's a development issue, and you got to have the courage to step up and do it. The more we do that, the better results you're going to get and more respect you're going to have from everybody.
Well, let's move to the third portion of Casey's 3-part question. How do you motivate bottom performers to meet the standard or move out?
Yeah, I think you don't. Sometimes bottom performers that should become, first you got to quit hiring them. I mean, you got to really get better at interviewing and hiring. But when you got them, you've got to deal with it and quit letting it go and keep hoping things get better. And I would say the same thing. Go have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. They'll never forget for the rest of their life. Document it, put it in writing, give them examples, real live examples. On this day and that meeting, here's what you did that's inappropriate and you can't do it anymore. Give people real hard examples. Don't just say you have a bad attitude or you need to be to work on time. Give them examples. And then give them a time frame. I'm going to give you the next 90 days to improve your performance. And if you don't, you're not going to be here. And I'm going to document this in writing today. And if you got legal issues, you got to get a lawyer involved. You're going to get HR involved. You're going to get a witness that you've had the conversation with them. And this is probably the biggest problem in American business. People are not dealing with non-performers. They're just letting it go. And shame on you. Nobody likes to deal with it because it's not fun. So we hope, and we all sit around and think they're going to get better. People don't get better unless you help them get better. And if you just let your children do whatever they want, I guarantee you they won't get better. They need direction. They need clarity. They need to make sure they understand clearly what excellence looks like. A lot of people don't know what excellence looks like because they've never been in that environment. They never worked in an excellent organization. Let me tell you, people join Disney, come to Disney, they go, wow. And now I see why everybody talks about Disney. Attention to detail. I mean, excellence at one company and another can be two big different things. And excellence is a state of mind, and you got to be able to explain that to people, and their performance has got to either rise or they got to move on if you want to have an excellent organization.
And Lee, I think there are probably times when there's a bottom performer or even a middle performer, but a bottom performer who is just absolutely in the wrong role. They're not doing the job they should be doing. And you could be, it wouldn't feel like it at the time, but you could be doing one of the best things that happens to their career by holding them to the standard and firing them if you need to, because then they can move on to something that they really could be good at.
Absolutely. Don't let them stay there and think they're going to have a good future when they're not. And another thing, if you got a job in the company they could do it. Disney moves a lot of people out of jobs where they're not performing. They move to another one and they just excel. So sometimes you have that opportunity, depending on how big your company is and how many jobs you have open, getting people into something that they're better at than what you currently have them in. But at the end of the day, you got to deal with non-performance or it'll take your company down for sure.
I'm wondering what that conversation is like in Disney, where how do you move an employee or a cast member from one role to another and because of performance, but make them still feel valuable and important part of a company?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it many times, and you do it with sensitivity and finesse. I mean, just like you would your kids. You don't want your kids so upset after you talk to them about something when they're 13, 15, 17, 18 that it starts to really hurt their self-confidence, or they don't believe in themselves, or they get depressed, or you put a lot of anxiety on them. You got to just do it with finesse. You got to do it maybe slowly. You got to sit down and have a conversation. Sometimes it's tell the person, I really want to have this conversation with you because I care about you. I want you to be successful here. And I just want to give you a list of things. And we're going to work on these. And nothing's going to happen right now, but I'm going to meet with you every week. And then, in 3 months or 2 months, we're going to make a decision. And you can ask me anything you want. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You may be cut out for this job and you may not. if any of your performance problem is my fault, please tell me. What do you need? Do you need some training? Do you need, what is it that's keeping you from performing at the level I'm asking for right now? And, there's a lot of emotional things going on inside people. They may have personal problems at home. They may have a health problem. There's some things you may learn where you can help them get through it and get out on the other side. But some people perform and then all of a sudden they don't. And then we go and we find out, well, they're having a problem with their wife or their child is sick or they're having financial problems. And sometimes we can help with that and get people back on the road. But same old thing. I think just be honest, be respectful, be courteous, be professional, and don't raise your voice, and just talk to them like you in a way that you want to help them, that they will know when they walk out of there that you're there to help them, not to hurt them.
Well, Lee, this has been a tremendous episode. Thank you. And if you would like to have your question answered by Lee here on Creating Disney Magic, please reach out. We absolutely love answering your questions. And you could go to leecockrell.com and reach out to Lee, or jodymayberry.com. Send your question to me, and Lee won't know what's coming. These last 2 episodes, Lee hasn't known which question is coming, and I find that a lot more fun. So thank you for listening to Creating Disney Magic. Now you can go out and create magic in your organization.